The 2022 U.S. Open is the 142nd edition of U.S. Open and the fourth and final Grand Slam of the year. It takes place in outdoor hard courts at the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in New York City, with Daniil Medvedev and also Emma Raducanu as defending champions of the men's and women's singles division.
That's right, and names like Rafael Nadal, Serena Williams, and Venus Williams were just some of the big names who took part in this year's U.S. Open. Interestingly enough, though, we also obviously saw that an Indonesian player also appeared in the women's doubles division. She is Aldila Sutjiadi, and she actually took part in this year's U.S. Open. So to find out more about how she performed and how the actual competition was, we're now going to connect with our very own Indonesian professional tennis player, Aldila Sutjiadi. Good morning, Aldila. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning, guys.
Hi there. First of all, congratulations on your appearance at the U.S. Open. You made all of us very proud by taking part in this year's edition of the 2022 U.S. Open. So let's start off by you perhaps sharing with us, what was it like to compete? Because this is a Grand Slam, one of the four, obviously, that takes place throughout the year. What was it like playing in front of such a busy crowd as well? Was it intimidating, and how did it affect you mentally to take part in such a big tournament?
Well, it's definitely a great experience for me, and it was amazing. It is my first U.S. Open because I never played the U.S. Open Junior before.
Okay.
So I have a really great experience with the crowd. My family were there to support me. Some of my friends came to the courts to watch me play. So it's definitely one of the best experiences this year that I have.
Awesome.
All right. Now, Aldila, can you also explain to us how significant the U.S. Open is to you, and what does a Grand Slam means for those of us unfamiliar with tennis like me?
Yes, so Grand Slams is the biggest tournaments in tennis. So there are 4 Grand Slams, and U.S. Open is the last one for this year. And I've played all of them this year, so
Wow.
it's been like a great year for me, definitely. And it's kind of like addictive that I want to come back and play again.
Well, Aldila, you've taken part in SEA Games. In fact, you've brought home medals as well. You've taken part in the Southeast Asian Games. Not only that, you're also a national team NCAA All-American player as well. So you're no stranger to big tournaments. What was the biggest difference playing in a Grand Slam for you as opposed to other tournaments that you've taken part in before?
So for me, it's kind of like, you're flying economy, business, and first class. Playing Grand Slam is like flying first class.
Okay.
Like, you get everything. Like they serve you so much better than the tournaments like lower than Grand Slam. And the stadium is like much bigger. There's so many people watching. Even like if you play like in a small court, there's still a lot of people watching.
And how does it
And it's
affect you,
just
like,
like,
nerve-wise? Did you get nervous? Did you get more nervous when you have to play at a Grand Slam?
I think I get nervous like a little bit in the beginning of the match. I kind of like, oh wow, this is like a big court and there are a lot of people watching. But then like once I get started, I kind of like get into the moment of the match.
Right.
So it doesn't really bother me.
Okay, so you get into your zone, right? So tell us a little bit, let's like rewind a little bit. Prior to the Grand Slam, what was the journey like? Because obviously it takes a lot of preparations to play for these things. So what was your preparation like leading up to the U.S. Open?
Yes, so I was playing SEA Games in May, and then I went straight to Europe after SEA Games, and I spent about 2 months there. And then after that, I think end of July, I came to U.S. and then start preparing for the U.S. swing, which is like the the warm-up tournaments before U.S. Open. So I think they're about like 2 months before U.S. Open. So I played like a few tournaments before that to adjust and play more in a hard court. And that's kind of like my preparation towards the U.S. Open.
Oh, okay, I see. Now, we also want to know, Aldila, about your partner, Miyu Kato, whom you have paired with since the 2022 French Open. Now, why did you choose Miyu as your partner over all other players?
So I started playing, like the first time I played with her was in French Open. It was kind of like, hey, do you want to play doubles together? Because we were at the same ranking that time. So we kind of like, okay, let's try. And then we got into the the French Open. And then when we played our first round, we did very well. And it was kind of like we had a good chemistry.
Okay.
So after that, I played like more tournaments with her in clay court, grass court. And then like leading to U.S. Open, I was kind of looking for another partner, but then like I played with Miyu for a while now, so it's probably better to play with her because then I don't have to adjust like my game style or like we already have a good chemistry. So let's try it again with her in U.S. Open and see how it goes.
Is it difficult for you to prepare together? Because with doubles, with singles, it's your own preparation. But with doubles, it's so many things. Depends on chemistry, how well you work together, communications, as well as being able to practice together. What was the biggest challenge for you in your partnership with Miyu?
Yeah, it's definitely the chemistry and like the game style. And when we played first time together, I kind of like feel like good playing with her. Like our game style match each other. That's why like I feel like, oh, I'm comfortable playing with her because like we don't need to practice a lot to adjust. So we just need to like maybe do like practice points with some other players like a few days before the tournament.
Right, so let's shift gears a little bit here, Aldila. The 2022 U.S. Open is significant for many reasons, but no reason larger than the fact that Serena Williams may have played her last match in her long storied career. Now, you being a women's tennis player and still fairly young, I'm sure you grew up watching and idolizing Serena like many other tennis players up there. What does it mean to you to be able to take part in this 2022 U.S. Open where Serena likely have taken part as her last tennis tournament as well? And how much of a role model has Serena Williams been for you in your career?
Well, it's definitely an amazing career for Serena. Like she's one of the greatest women's player in the world. Like she's been playing for almost more than 20 years and like she's been on the top. Like it's whenever like I see her here, I'll be like, oh wow, that's Serena. Like it's just amazing to see her in person here. And definitely like to be able to play at the same tournament with her, like the same level. It definitely shows that I also can do the same thing. Like I'm already there, so like it's just me like have to work hard and then try to like play a lot of tournaments and then just keep believing in myself that I can be on top as well.
Yeah, definitely an inspiration to all tennis players out there.
Yes, and speaking of working hard, we also want to know about your next target, Aldila. Do you have any? What is your goal?
For my goal this year, I want to be a top 50 doubles player. But also because I've been playing a lot of doubles, I still want to play singles. So after the U.S. Open, I'm going to try to play more singles and get a better ranking. So then like hopefully I can be like in the top 300 for my singles.
Ooh, can't wait for that. So listen, Aldila, obviously nowadays we're now seeing more and more Indonesian athletes break into the international scene as well, you along with a few others. What advice do you have to share for the youth of Indonesia that are currently in sports or those that are aspiring to be athletes representing our nation? Perhaps you have some words for them?
For me, it's definitely working hard and keep believing in your dream, because before my dream was to play in Grand Slams, and now I'm in here, and it's just a process that you have to trust and the discipline that you need to take to be able to achieve your dream.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, we certainly look forward to seeing more and more appearances from you in future Grand Slams as well. Continue to make us proud and continue to work hard, Aldila.
Thank you, Aldila.
Enjoy the rest of the tournament while you're there. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, wow. So, you know, the tennis scene is just, it's so full of young talent these days. Like if you look
True.
at the remaining singles players, even from the men's or the women's side, so many of them are young. Where tennis used to be dominated by just a few big names, nowadays it's dominated by a lot more of a young... You're seeing basically a regeneration, just like in badminton, a lot of racket sports now, you're seeing a regeneration of younger players. And I think that's really important because...
Younger players is from what age?
You know, in tennis, it's like teens, late teens. Like Carlos Alcaraz, he's 19 years old, and he's already good. If he makes it to the finals, he'll be the youngest to ever make it in the U.S. Open.
Wow. I think it's the Gen Z, right?
Well,
it's their generation. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, and it's not just that. It's the fact that sports like tennis or badminton, you can get started at a really young age, right?
Okay.
Without it impeding your growth or anything like that. So yeah, the younger you start,
right.
the better you can be.
Yay! So it's too late for us.
No. It's the opposite for us.
All right. I hope that talk is insightful, and it's time for another break, but we will bring you more updates from around the world when we return. So keep it here on the C Morning Show.